our headline story, Moscow Africa Summit 2021. The new scramble for Africa is well on, and Europe is playing catch-up to Asia and America. European powerhouse Russia is reasserting herself gradually and steadily. Recently, Russia hosted some African nations in her second investment summit. What is Russia offering, and what is in it for Africa? We'll be breaking down this today. I'm Tolulokwe Adelaru Balogun. Welcome. This is Business Edge. Russia has moved to take advantage of a desire by African countries to lessen their reliance on China and the West. The strategy has so far worked, even though President Vladimir Putin acknowledged his administration cannot come close to matching Beijing's financial firepower. According to official figures, Russia's annual volume of trade with Africa has doubled to $20 billion over the last 5 years. But that still pales in comparison to the continent's $300 billion in trade with the European Union and $60 billion with the United States in 2018. Meanwhile, Moscow's focus on the continent's riches has seen state-owned companies scaling up their activities in the natural resources sector, particularly in the search for and production of coltan, cobalt, gold, and diamonds across Africa. In Zimbabwe, for instance, a 2018 joint venture between Russia's JSC Afromet and Zimbabwe's Pen East began developing one of the world's largest deposits of platinum group metals. In Angola, diamond giant Alrosa, the world's top producer by output, increased its stake in local miner Katoka to 41%, which provides the Russian company with a production base outside the home country. Joining me from Moscow, Russia, is Suren Vardanyan. He is the Vice President of the Moscow Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Suren, thank you so much for joining us on Business Edge, and it's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, Tolu. It's nice to see you now.
All right, so let's start with this. Many have said that Russia is coming late to this new party, to this new scramble for Africa, as it concerns making inroads on the continent. And it's been a few decades since Russia has really paid attention to Africa beyond arms sales. So what brings Russia to Africa's doorstep now, economically, in terms of industry, in terms of trade? Why is Russia coming to Africa now?
First of all, Tolu, thank you very much once more for inviting me to this conference. I want to say that, of course, Russia historically has interest in African continent and has interest and communication with African companies and economy. Yes, you are right. Some years ago, we lost the contacts. Some years ago, we lost this friendly communication. Now we want to come back. We want to have a new model, a new stage of our economical, cultural, and educational cooperation. We want it to be friendly and interested for both sides, not only for the companies which are coming. Of course, it's our companies and we support them, but for the companies who are waiting us and with whom we want to do a reliable partnership. And we have a lot what we are ready to say. The stage is very interesting. Now, Moscow companies, first of all, like frontier companies, Russian companies, are ready to come and are ready to organize a reliable, beneficial cooperation.
Okay, so we're seeing that Russia is looking to shift from a role of providing arms to the continent, which amounts to about $15 billion worth, to now doing economic business with African countries. At the time of the first Russia-Africa summit in 2019, President Vladimir Putin said that Russia currently exports about $25 billion worth of food. What role does Russia see itself playing economically on the continent?
So, Tulu, I don't want to speak about army. I don't want to speak about guns, because we are Moscow Chamber of Commerce and Industry, working in a civil company sphere. So if we are speaking about Russian companies today, about Moscow companies, we are ready to come with new conventional projects. We are ready to come with the projects concerning refrigerators, filters, concerning ecology, concerning new equipment in pharmaceutical sphere. Also, you know about vaccines. We are very good results, and we have already not only vaccines for the people, we are registered the first in the world vaccine for animals. And we want to do it in a platform of different states. In a platform, first of all, we want to speak now about sub-Saharan states because we already have relations with North Africa, but to develop it to a whole continent. And really, I don't think that we must discuss only questions concerning our positions and our leader positions and equipment of army. Of course, you know that we are very successful now in grain. We have our new projects in agricultural sphere, and not only in products which can be interesting for Africa, but also in processing the products, also with saving the products. And I think these positions are the most interesting for the African continent. And of course, I want to emphasize that we are speaking now not about only large companies. We are speaking now about Russian middle companies, which are strengthened enough to come to organize all services with the partners in the African continent.
Okay. So let's just stay with the summits quickly. So it was at this same summit that President Putin announced that $20 billion in debt that was owed by African countries had been written off. And we've seen that, whether you like it or not, many African countries have a very large appetite for taking loans. So when it comes to loans, how generous do you think Russia will be when it comes to African countries taking loans from Russia, from Russian financial institutions, from Russian lenders, as it may be?
Sita, first of all, it was the step which Russia government think was like opening a new door, opening a new decade of our cooperation. It was done, and I think everybody understood why it was done. The second factor, what I want to emphasize, we are speaking now about the companies, about the private projects, and about the projects of companies which are going for the commercial projects. So I don't think that we need to start a new page of our cooperation, thinking about payback or not. I think that all contracts, all projects must be interesting for Africa, for Russia, for maybe Nairobi and Moscow, for maybe Lusaka in Moscow, or Abuja for Moscow. We are ready to construct these relations in a position when everybody understand what they will take after realizing this project. That is why I think that it is incorrect to speak now how Russia will do if the loans will be very large. I think now we shall speak about the thing, what we must do, that everybody will be interested to work hard in these projects.
Okay. So let's talk about that then. You made mention earlier that Russia is looking to build its relationships in sub-Saharan Africa. So let's talk about some of the numbers that Russia has been doing. The leading trading partner for Russia on the continent is Egypt, with a value of goods and services exchanged that's about between $7.7 billion, roughly accounting for a third of the total trade volume between Russia and all African countries in 2018. After that is Algeria, that has over $4.8 billion. Then South Africa in sub-Saharan Africa, and also Russia exchanged goods worth nearly $1.1 billion. So when you look at these numbers, obviously you can see Russia has concentrated its deals on these three countries and of course with Northern Africa. What are the plans to increase the volume of trade between other countries like Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, Tanzania? What are the plans Russia has to sort of, I guess you would say, bring these countries into the fold as well?
Well, as you have seen, we have done a special TV link up, not with the states in the north part of Africa. We have done a special TV program, which was translated last time, Moscow, Africa, concerning communication with the states of Sub-Saharan. It's not only Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, Tanzania. We can speak about Rwanda, Cameroon, Chad, Sierra Leone, Cote d'Ivoire. We are ready to cooperate in different spheres. And during this summit in Sochi, which you have mentioned, we have a contacts with all business associations from these states, and we even signed some agreement for cooperation with these chambers. And I think that Russia and Russian company understand very well that their perspectives is not only Egypt, not only Algeria, not only Morocco and other states in the North part, but also this state which we have mentioned not long ago. Nigeria is one of the great interests for Russian companies. We are speaking now about Cote d'Ivoire also. We have a good relations with Kenya and Cameroon. And we think that after discussions, which we have taken last time, we will get new impulse for cooperation.
All right, Suren, let's take a break. I like that you mentioned that there were some deals signed regarding these chambers of Congress, I beg your pardon, in other African countries. I want to see what details you can give us, but that will be after the break. So Suren, just wait, hold on for us. This is, of course, Business Edge, and we're looking at the Moscow Africa Summit 2021, where we've seen, again, Russia extending its hand to the African continent. What's in this for Africa? We'll discuss after this. Still with me is Suren Vardanyan. He is the Vice President of the Russia Chamber of Commerce and Industry. And we're talking about Russia's inroads into the African continent. Suren, you mentioned earlier that there were a number of agreements signed with chambers of commerce across the continent. And the recently held Moscow Africa 2021 teleconference talked about directions and opportunities in terms of industrial and investment cooperation. So in terms of some of these deals, what are you looking at? What is your Chamber of Commerce and Industry looking at in regards to the continent, to the countries on the continent?
First of all, Moscow Chamber of Commerce and Industry.
I beg your pardon. Yes.
Of Russian Chamber. I am Vice President of Moscow Chamber of Commerce and Industry. And with Moscow Export Support and Development Center of Moscow government, which is called Mosprom, we have done a very interesting conference which you have mentioned. The conference was targeting to show new directions of cooperations, like pharmaceutical and medical, like mining in new technologies and mining, like new filters and refrigerators, like new projects in IT technologies also, like the projects concerning industry in processing. So what we are speaking about? We are speaking about that, say, you have seen now, not only Russian government, but Moscow government, special department which is interested in and supporting Moscow industry, now start to do steps to activate and to support Moscow companies, industrial companies, go to Africa. And it was the first conference so large, which we have done with the Moscow government, supporting and activating Moscow companies to make steps to African continent. And the agreements which have been signed during last summit, Russia-Africa summit, we have signed an agreement with chambers in Cote d'Ivoire, in Nigeria, in Sierra Leone. We have special meetings with associations in Cameroon, in Ghana. We have discussed the directions. We have discussed that we wait that African chambers will give us reliable companies and explain us, because it is very important to have somebody who will guide you in a territory. And we wait, they will explain us how to be beneficially in your market. You need especially in what kind of industries you wait our integration. Because for the last years, Russia and especially Moscow have done a very interesting steps in new technologies. And I want to say that Moscow also grew its export to Africa for 7%. And now it's about $2.4 billion. It's Moscow companies. And I want to say that it's already, Moscow have 22% in non-energy, non-resources export of Russian Federation, of the whole Russia.
So Suren, can we put, you're giving me some numbers, but can you give me the numbers of the companies as well? So you're telling me that there's an increase in the business and the trade, in economic, whatever that's happening between Moscow and the continent, between Russia and the continent. How many Russian or how many Moscow companies are currently operating and working in some capacity here on the continent?
During this meeting, we have linked with more than 300 Moscow companies. And for understanding, this TV link was entered by 1,500 companies which we are looking at. 300 companies already said that they're interested to step to the African continent. Maybe they will not do it at once, but interest.
Okay, so let's move on to something, because as we said earlier, and I think you also agree, it seems that Moscow is reawakening and renewing interest on the continent. But things happening on the continent are competitive. The US is here. China is very, very present on the continent. Even the European Union. We've seen what's happened with Brexit. The UK is trying to make individual bilateral agreements now that it's out of the European Union. Why should African countries, why should African businesses look to Russia when they have people who have been spending more money, who've been here a little bit longer and who have taken trade on the continent a bit more seriously? What makes Russia competitive and attractive, in your estimation, to African economies and African businesses?
I think that historically we understand how to walk in different regions, in different continents, maybe much more than our partners. But I'm speaking about open concurrentable, open concurrentable cooperation. Maybe sometimes they will win us. Maybe sometimes we will be much more interesting for African companies. We will try to show our positive, our perspective positions. We will try to show that we are much more sometimes friendly and much more open. It's style. It's the style of Russian companies to be much more open and friendly with their partners. I don't want to say that the companies from Europe or companies from United States or from China are not friendly. But I want to say that we are ready, Russian companies are ready to be an open concurrent. We are ready to show our results in different spheres, especially in industrial equipment. We are ready to be interesting for the partners in Africa. And we are ready to get the relations and to get the agreements which will be interesting not only for us, but for our African companies. Let's show and let's see what with time will give an answer for your questions and for my dispositions.
All right, so finally, Suren, before I let you go, just bear with me with this because I have some numbers I want to share. So there are a few issues that may hinder Russia from becoming a key economic development partner for Africa. China, India, the United States, and Germany remain by far Sub-Saharan Africa's top trading partners. According to the World Bank, Sub-Saharan Africa's exports to Russia, were worth about $0.6 billion in 2017, even though they've been increasing, while imports from Russia amounted to about $2.5 billion. This puts the total Sub-Saharan Russia trade turnover at about $3 billion. But this doesn't compare with the trade with China and the United States, which is worth $56 billion and $27 billion respectively. Even the forgiven loans don't match what China has extended to Africa. In fact, as a raw materials exporter, Russia might actually be a competitor to many African economies if we truly look at it. So if we look at African countries who are trying to modernize, build new infrastructure, Russia likely won't be the first country that comes to mind. So how does Russia plan to work around some of these challenges to show itself as a viable economic development partner for the continent?
I want to say to you that, of course, we understand that we lost some time. It was some objective and some subjective positions why we have done it. But I want to say that it will take maybe 5, maybe 10 for us to show to African companies that we are a really reliable and very interesting partners. I'm sure that the figures will rise, and we will see figures which you can say from your program and to say, see, Russia start to be maybe not the first, but the third. And it will give us a possibility to show you that we are not speaking only about mining. We are not speaking not only about weapons. We are speaking about pharmaceutical. We are speaking about new technologies in ecological sphere. We are speaking about new technologies in agriculture. And we are ready to show it and to do it together. The main thing, we are ready to do it together. We are ready to develop infrastructure of Africa. We are ready to integrate our technologies in your continent and in your companies. And I want to say that Moscow companies, which have taken part in this conference, many of them are the leaders in their sphere. And they are not only the leaders in Russia, we are leaders in Europe, we are leaders in even in the world.
Okay.
So we are not coming to you with the technologies of last years. We are coming to you with new technologies and new projects.
All right, so we'll leave it at that, but I'm very sure we'll be having another round of this conversation as things develop. Suren Vardanyan, Vice President of the Moscow Chamber of Commerce and Industry, who joins us from Moscow, Russia. Thank you so much for being my guest on Business Edge.
Thank you, Tolu. Thank you for your friendly talk.
Thank you. All right, I think Africa really has to decide. It is the beautiful bride right now, and as many have called it, it is the next scramble, the new scramble for our resources, for our people as well. What direction will we take, and how do we as a continent benefit the most? We're looking to trade with others, but let's not forget that AFTA, the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, has also kicked off. So as we're trading outside, let's make sure we're trading inside as well. All right, we're going to wrap things up with NC4 to watch. A few stories we're keeping our eyes on. We have this. The Chinese government is minting cash digitally in a reimagination of money that could shake a pillar of American power. Now, China's version of a digital currency is controlled by its central bank, which will issue the new electronic money. It is expected to give China's government vast new tools to monitor both its economy and its people. The Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries and Allies, known as OPEC Plus, has agreed to monthly production hikes from May to July. OPEC member Iran, already exempted from making voluntary cuts, is also boosting supply. Brent crude for June fell 2.1% to $63.50 a barrel. And moving on from there, we go to the next point of call. Kenya Airways will suspend flights to the United Kingdom effective from April the 9th, according to the airline's statement. The announcement comes days after Britain said it would add Kenya to its travel red list. Those arriving in the UK from countries on the list will be denied entry, while returning Britons must submit to 10 days of mandatory quarantine in hotels. And finally, Nigeria and the Africa Development Bank are collaborating to support the technology and creative sectors of the nation's economy with about $200 billion or 500 million naira under the Nigeria Innovation Program. And that's Business Edge for today. Head to our website or YouTube channel for more business, financial, and economic conversations about the continent. Until next time, I'm Tolulokwe Adeleru Balogun. Do have a good day.